Now, if I'm living in Kenya and I have £3,000 incoming, on average, I'm spending less than 500 a month, £500, and then I'm left with the 2,500 to play with. So we're talking about my 2-bedroom apartment that costs me £250 a month. And then when you factor in, I don't really need to travel that much, but if I do, Ubers are costing me about £8 because I'm an Uber girly. But also I've now found Boda Bodas, and that's even cheaper.
Moving to Kenya, definitely, I always say the people is what make Kenya magical.
Yeah.
And after going to 46 countries in the world and living in 8 of them, Kenya is still by far my favorite country in the world.
I took some time to put this story together, talking to people from different nationalities to find out why they would leave everything behind and move to Nairobi, Kenya. While most people choose countries like Ghana or South Africa, I wanted to find out why Kenya is becoming the new favorite. This is Nairobi National Park.
Yes, exactly. And I live close to the airport, so I just feel blessed to be able to enjoy this view every morning. Sometimes there's giraffes. I've seen giraffes.
You see animals from here?
Yes, they migrate. Like their migration pattern is pretty much right in front of my apartment.
We dive into the real cost of living.
And like I said, Nairobi is not a cheap city. I think that people may have this impression that we're immigrating here because it's extremely cheap, and which the cost of living is lower. I would say maybe about 40% lower, but it's also not cheap at all either.
So on average on a month, maybe my transport is coming up to less than £50 at most. And then if you factor in buying food, less than £50 a month. So yeah, I would say maximum, depending on your rent, about £500. So cost of living here is for the win, definitely.
The challenges of settling here and why many are still choosing Nairobi despite the rising cost of living and the recent demonstrations. How much do you pay for such an apartment to get this view?
Yeah, so I have a 3-bedroom with a DSQ, and I pay $90K.
$90K?
Yes, but there were also options for like a 2-bedroom for $50K.
Okay.
So yes, I think that I do get a lot more value, definitely compared to in town, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy a Syokimau.
Yeah.
I think $90K is a great deal, especially with all the amenities that it offers.
Yeah. If you're thinking of relocating to Kenya or just want to find out what's happening on the ground, this video is for you. And kindly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for more insights and stories like these.
Have you picked any Swahili words?
Kidogo, I'm learning pole, but I'll get there.
Any Sheng? We have Sheng.
I just know, small VP, Niaje, small words, and then like little things you guys do. If it's something crazy, you say, what? Or hey, if it's something, little stuff like that. But I'm getting there.
Now I'm back to square one.
You already have broken this short time that you're already here, you already have broken.
Yeah, imagine.
Kenyan, man.
Imagine. Watoto Kenya. What can I say? Hi, I'm Tracy. I am a UK girlie who is originally Zimbabwean, but I have decided to come to Kenya, and I would say I've been here for 4 months now, and this is my humble abode.
Hi, my name is Kia Wakesho Simmons. I am the CEO and founder of Traverse Culture. I'm living and thriving in Nairobi, Kenya as we speak.
Hey, my name is Rochelle. I am an African American living in Syokimau, Machakos, and welcome to my home.
Why did you decide to come to Kenya? We have Ghana, you are originally from Zimbabwe, we have South Africa. Why did you choose Kenya?
So the main reason, actually, let's give you a backstory. I came to Kenya for the first time 2 years ago. I came for a wedding, and the first time we landed, and it was a bunch of Zimbabweans. So we had a Zimbabwean groom who was marrying a Kenyan bride. And we all grew up in the UK together, but you know, let's go to Kenya, it'll be cheaper, it'll be nicer, it'll be fun. And so when we all landed as Zimbabweans, we were like, wow, the roads are amazing. Wow, the Chinese have really done a number on Kenyan infrastructure. And I fell in love. I fell in love with the roads. I fell in love with the food. I fell in love with the sun. I fell in love with the infrastructure. And I said, you know what? There's gonna come a time when I will eventually relocate here. And that was 2 years ago. I thought nothing of it, you know. It was in the back of my mind. Oh, I will, you know, maybe when I'm in my 40s and it's time to retire, I'll come to Kenya. And then I found myself in jobs that were contracted. And so as the contracts were ending, I thought, well, hang on a minute. Instead of just working here, let me just do it. Let's do it. My contract finishes in March. I might as well. And then I found myself here. And now I'm here since April. I was 8 when my mum kidnapped me to Zimbabwe, to the UK. So yeah, I was 8 years old and I'm now 33. And this is my first time being away from home completely as an adult. I say home, UK is kind of my home now, but yeah.
So off and on for the last 14 years this August. Been living and coming here to Kenya, but now permanently. I moved here at the top of the year after I liquidated everything in the States. And so for me, when I first started coming to Kenya in 2011, it was just an automatic, you know, romantic relationship with this country and the people. And I fell in love and never stopped coming since then. And so that's, for me, was the deciding factor of moving to Kenya. Definitely, I always say the people is what make Kenya magical.
Yeah.
And after going to 46 countries in the world and living in 8 of them, Kenya is still by far my favorite country in the world.
Kenya, we have Ghana, we have South Africa.
Yeah.
Ghana is like where most of African Americans go there.
It's true.
Why did you pick Kenya?
Yeah, again, I think the people. The people. I haven't been to Ghana, so I don't know how I'm going to feel when I go to Ghana. But I've been to 9 other African countries, and again, there's just no feeling like Kenya. And you get the best of both worlds here in Kenya, I'm going to be honest. Nairobi is quite westernized to a certain extent, where you get a little bit of the American feel, but then you still get that African hospitality that only I think Kenya gives. Again, the people is what make Kenya magical.
I do have mostly West African ancestry, of course, but I have not been to West Africa yet. I'm going to be going next year. I've heard a lot of amazing things about Ghana, and I really can't wait to visit. And I do feel like that would feel like home for me in a lot of ways, especially because I have ancestry there. But I haven't been yet, and I wanted to visit somewhere that I had been. It wasn't en route with my Cape Town to Cairo journey, so I just hadn't visited there yet. And as far as South Africa, I did love South Africa. I've been to Cape Town, I've been to Johannesburg, Durban, and also within South Africa, I went to Lesotho and Eswatini. And I loved what I saw. The people were kind, and I was strongly considering moving there. But the one thing that stopped me was the importation of my dog. I wasn't able to import my dog into South Africa, and I also applied for a residency visa and I got denied. Yes, I was inspired to come to Kenya when I was living in Brazil, and I lived in Salvador, Brazil, which has the highest population of Black people outside of Africa. And it is very immersed in African culture. And so living in Brazil, exploring the Afro-Latin culture, the Afro-Brazilian culture, really made me yearn to connect with the continent more. So last year, I went on a tour. It was a 3-month tour through 11 African countries.
You do a lot of travel.
Yeah, so slowing down now, Kidogo, but last year it was a 3-month tour. I traveled from Cape Town to Cairo, and of course, Kenya was one of those countries.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that it was time to move on to the next destination after living in Brazil for about 2 years. And I decided to move to Nairobi because I liked what I saw, and I wanted a bit more fast-paced city that would motivate me to hustle and really work on my brands. And I think that Nairobi is a well-rounded metropolis.
So where are you from?
I was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. I left the United States when I was 18. I lived in Europe for 3 years. I lived in Latin America for
You've been
about...
a digital nomad for the longest.
Yes. Well, when I was living in Europe, I was working with a company as a dental assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, for 3 years. And then I moved to Latin America in 2020 by myself. And that's when my digital nomad journey started.
So ever since you've been on the road?
Yes, I've been traveling nonstop, I guess, nomad life for about 6 years. But I moved out of the United States when I was 18.
How is the cost of living in Nairobi?
So I have this conversation with my friends all the time. Cost of living here is a lot more doable. It's a lot more peaceful. If I imagine, say I'm earning £3,000 in the UK, I am looking at about 1.1 to 1.5 for a 1-bedroom apartment. My transport, depending where I live, is probably costing me about 200 every month to get to work. I also have to factor in tax. I have to factor in all these other things. So on average, you're left with around maybe 700 to 1,000 to try and play with. That's before you've done your savings. That's before you've done, because all these expenditures. Now, if I'm living in Kenya and I have £3,000 incoming, on average, I'm spending less than 500 a month, £500, and then I'm left with the 2,500 to play with. So we're talking about my 2-bedroom apartment that costs me £250 a month. And then when you factor in, I don't really need to travel that much, but if I do, Ubers are costing me about £8 because I'm an Uber girly. But also I've now found bodas, and that's even cheaper. So on average on a month, maybe my transport is coming up to less than £50 at most. And then if you factor in buying food, less than £50 a month. So yeah, I would say maximum, depending on your rent, about £500. So cost of living here is for the win.
I think a lot of people don't understand like the gap between how locals may live compared to immigrants and the things that immigrants have access to. I do understand that many people can afford to live a very, affordable life, like even maybe $100, $200, $300, and still be comfortable for the most part. But for foreigners, we don't always have access to that world.
Yeah.
So for us, it just naturally is more expensive for us. Like when I first immigrated here, my money was just started disappearing, because I was just like, Nairobi is not cheap for anybody. And even when I was renting an apartment in Kilimani, I got a 1-month rental. And I asked her if we could do a short-term rental for maybe just a few months. And she tried to double the price. I was already paying about $800 for a studio, furnished studio. So I was just like, okay, like this is doable, but it's not the best rate. But then when I told her that I wanted to do a short-term lease, she was trying to charge me $1,600 a month for a studio. And so
that is a furnished apartment.
Yeah, furnished studio apartment in Kilimani.
All right.
And it's just like, I don't think people understand that we get told to pay these high prices, and sometimes we do get exploited, and sometimes there's nothing we can really do about it. So that was some difficulties that I experienced when I first got here, trying to find housing and integrate also supermarkets versus, I guess you could say, local markets. a lot of foreigners just don't know how to navigate local markets to get local prices. So we end up like gravitating towards supermarkets, which can be extremely expensive. Like you can easily spend $400 a month just grocery shopping in supermarkets if you don't know how to access local markets.
Especially when someone hears when you want to do like, you want to purchase things around here and then they get your accent.
Yeah,
the price
it
doubles.
Yeah, immediately. So those are kind of the things that foreigners experience, which may lead to like a little bit of a higher cost of living. And like I said, Nairobi is not a cheap city. I think that people may have this impression that we're immigrating here because it's extremely cheap, and which the cost of living is lower. I would say maybe about 40% lower, but it's also not cheap at all either. So money, I don't think saving money is the number one motivating factor for me, because there are other countries that I could immigrate to and pay a fraction of the price that I'm paying, for the same things I'm getting in Nairobi. I'm here because I appreciate the culture and I want to connect with like the people and immerse in the culture mainly.
So I've been okay when it comes to adapting to the areas. So at first I thought I'd be a Kilimani girl. I thought I would be living life in Kilimani, in the nice new builds that cost about 75k a month. And then reality hit me and I was like, okay, no, that's not going to work. And additionally, I think I'm escaping city life. And where I am, Ruaka, it's not as much of a busy city.
Yes, and you are in a very good apartment.
Honestly, it's a 2-bed.
Yes.
It's a 2-bed, and everyone's asking, why do you need a 2-bed? But no, when I have visitors, they've got that space. In the UK, I could never afford a 2-bed. I'd have to be sharing with someone else so that they can pay, and then we have enough to have our 2-bed. But here I've got the luxury where, you can stay over, there's a room, there's space, there's lots of space.
This is your view every day when you wake up.
Yes.
Man, this is like so incredible. This is Nairobi National Park.
Yes, exactly. And I live close to the airport, so I just feel blessed to be able to enjoy this view every morning. Sometimes there's giraffes. I've seen giraffes.
You see animals from here?
Yes, they migrate. Like their migration pattern is pretty much right in front of my apartment. And I've seen ostrich, antelope, rhino, baboons.
From here?
Yes, from here. The baboons.
Guys, actually, Nairobi is the only city, Kenya, Nairobi, the capital city, with a national park inside the capital.
Exactly.
So you see this when you wake up, chill
Yes.
here, this is what you get.
Yes, but I prefer the sunsets. The sunsets are absolutely breathtaking. And I just feel honestly blessed every time I can enjoy a sunset, with this view.
How much do you pay for such an apartment to get this view?
Yeah, so I have a 3-bedroom with a DSQ and I pay 90K.
90K?
Yes, but there were also options for like a 2-bedroom for 50K.
Okay.
So yes, I think that I do get a lot more value, definitely compared to in town, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy a Sioki Mall. I think 90K is a great deal, especially with all the amenities that it offers.
Housing in Nairobi has become a big topic, especially for foreigners relocating here. Most prefer settling in affluent areas like Kilimani, mainly because of the better security, reliable infrastructure, and access to restaurants, malls, and international schools. I got a chance to tour one of the apartments in this neighborhood to see what it offers. Rent here isn't exactly cheap. Most units range between 80,000 and 200,000 Kenyan shillings per month, depending on the size and the level of luxury. And with Nairobi's population growing fast, these areas are getting denser and more expensive by the day. So Rochelle, you understand, now is when I understand that houses are really expensive in Nairobi.
Yes, it's insane, right?
Because this is 23 million. The houses range between 16 to 24 million.
Oh, wow.
That is quite expensive.
And this is a 2-bedroom.
They took me around.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the houses that they have. And the facilities or the space and everything.
Yes.
They charge based on the view that they give you. So when the view is so great, they charge you more.
That view? Okay. But
what do you think about this? Maybe you can move this side.
yeah, so
What do you think about this house?
I think that it looks very well constructed. This is a showroom and it's not a completed project. So we got to take that into, respect. And yeah, so I think that 22 million is a little up there because I see that they're not en suite. The bathrooms are separate. So it's just like,
Yeah, the rooms, the bedrooms
okay,
have.
and that one too?
Ensuite, yes.
Okay. So I think that...
Is it value for money? Have you
it
ever
is
thought of owning
Kilimani.
a property here?
I would prefer to build. My dream is to build. Yeah, so when it comes to buying an apartment, I will say that some people are still exploring the market and still deciding if it's like the best decision. But I think you can find some valuable units, but I think that some developers are taking advantage of the rising increase.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, the prices increase as well.
Because this is Kilimani, not Kilimani.
Yes, Kilimani is like priced.
High.
Yes.
And then when you check around, it's just concrete all over.
Yeah.
And the prices
so-
are still very high.
Yes, and I'm assuming that I hope they have a gym. I hope they have maybe some apartment buildings have coffee, cafes, So I think the amenities can make it or break it as well.
Yeah, because they have not yet finished it. They're still
Right.
under construction.
Yeah.
But this is like some of the units that they're selling here. So guys, this is, I don't know about you, but you've seen the video of the tour. You've seen how it is. I don't know what you think. Maybe you can leave a comment down there. If you will relocate to Kenya
you
or you
think
want
it's
to buy a
worth it.
property, if you think it's
Yes.
worth it. I have people who want to travel to Nairobi,
Yeah.
to Kenya, to Africa, and they're always asking so many questions. What does Traverse do? Let's
Yeah.
get into now Traverse Africa.
Yes.
What does Traverse Africa do?
Absolutely. I love that you said Traverse Culture Africa.
Yes.
It's because we are registered in the US and here in Nairobi, Kenya, or Kenya, period. So again, we specialize in that humanitarian, that CSR piece, making sure that we're always impacting any community that we're in. And then we do offer that relocation piece. Now, what makes Traverse Culture a bit unique than any other company, and I believe that we are the only company in Nairobi, Kenya, that offers a 120-day relocation integration program. There's no other company that does that. Outside my brother John and Diani, shout out to Diaspora Freedom Initiative. He's doing great work in Diani. Gotta give my brother some love. Another African American is doing some great work down there on the coast. But the 120-day relocation integration program is essential to make sure that we're not repatriating people, but we're integrating people into the Kenyan community.
What is the difference?
Yes.
The
So
difference between
for those who,
integration
who don't know me, I don't subscribe to repatriation for us. One, because if you just deal with the word patriot, means that you would have to be a citizen of that country.
Yeah.
It would have to be your home country. So for you to repatriate, meaning you would be returning to your home country. So I'm American. I would be repatriating to America if I was to go back home.
Yeah.
And so we have to be very, very careful in the words that we use, because sometimes it paints a false narrative, and people make emotional decisions when they hear this repatriate home. You can come home, you can do all these great things, but then you'll get people who you may link up with, and you're skipping all the necessary steps to fully integrate into the community, so that one, you're learning about the local culture, but you're also positioning yourself so you're not making costly mistakes. So that's another reason why I don't subscribe to repatriation, but integration into the local community.
So what Traverse Culture Africa does is get people who want to visit Africa and now Nairobi or Kenya.
Yeah.
You act like the in-between.
Yeah, more than the in-between. We hold your hand on everything. So we don't do referral-based anything. Everything is in-house. We literally hold your hand because we're a full-service concierge company. Like we are relocating a gentleman that landed last night from the States, and he's doing our 60-day program, where the first 30 days we identified some of the services that he needed, like international flight, we need to put him in temporary housing according to his needs. He had specific wants that he wanted in that temporary housing. We got his visa for him, you know, all the small things that need to be done before, and then prepare him for his relocation. Now that he's landed last night, he starts his 30-day integration process. i.e. we move him into his temporary housing today, and then we start the program. He does 3 days of real estate tour, looking at between 9 to 15 properties tailored to his needs and his budget. We're doing the VIP healthcare program that we offer, where he will take a tour of 3 of the top tier hospitals here in Nairobi, Kenya, which we are in partnership with the Nairobi Hospital, the only company in Nairobi that's doing that. We will connect him with the primary care doctor. I think he also requested to see a knee doctor, a dentist. We're getting him local health insurance. Even though he's a vet, he will be able to get local health insurance and be refunded by the VA, as I'm a veteran as well. So I did the same process. It's an entire system to make sure that by the time you finish our program, you can navigate on your own again without making costly mistakes and saving you time.
How long have you guys been operating here in Kenya?
7.5 years.
7.5 years.
Correct.
And for the 7.5 years, has there been an increase in the number of people coming or the number of people relocating to Kenya?
Most definitely this year has. We relocated a few families between this year and last year. I mean, this year and last year, yes, we're about 15 families in, but it is getting out of control at this point. People are hitting us up left and right. And so just this month, we got 4 families just this month. We can max out at 5 just because of the capacity of what we could do. But yeah, the increase is crazy. As I told you before, we've brought over 300 African Americans just through travel to Kenya. And now we offer a relocation investigative tour. So that has been a hot ticket as well. So this is for people who are not quite sure rather Kenya is the place for them, and so they come do an investigative tour with us between 12 to 15 days. We pull some of the services that we offer through our relocation program, we put it in the itinerary, you come on the ground, you get to investigate these things, and by the end of that trip you can determine, I think that Kenya is the place for me to relocate and I'm ready to do that, or it's not. And we just had a family just left 3 days ago who did, a family of 5 who did the investigative tour, and another young lady who did the investigative tour in Malindi, and she ended up saying, yes, this is the place. So right now we're assisting her with building a house in Malindi, and we will be relocating them in October.
Like, it's now 4 months.
Yeah.
How long are you planning to stay in Nairobi or Kenya?
Forever, if I can. I guess I would say possibly I want to give it a good 2 years, 2 to 4 years, before I relocate to the next African country. So I want to stay within Africa, but I feel like with my mission at the moment, I would be here for a good 2 to 4 years just to establish the vision that I have. And then from then on, I will go to the next one.
How many countries have you visited so far?
How many countries have I visited? In Africa or?
In Africa.
In Africa, oh no. I've done Nigeria, I've done Kenya, I've done...
Zimbabweans actually love Nigerian men.
No, okay, wait, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
That came out very strong. But Zimbabweans with Nigerians and Ghanaians, you guys are like this.
Do you know what it is? I think because in the UK, heavy presence of Nigerian, heavy Zimbabwean in the health sector. So naturally, the two combined. So even saying that, my sister, her children, Nigerian fathers.
All the Zimbabwean ladies that I know are actually either Ghana or Nigeria.
I used to be associated more with the Ghana side. People thought I looked Ghanaian, so they would always assume I was Ghanaian, and I thought I would marry a Ghanaian. But nah.
Our Kenyan men are winning now.
They were until one broke my heart, so now I'm back to square one.
You already had broken this short time that you're already here. You already had broken.
Yeah, imagine.
Kenyan man.
Imagine. Watoto Kenya. What can I say?
What's your favorite food? What are you making? What is your favorite food here in Nairobi or Kenya? Or what do you love most about just the fact that you're here alone,
Yeah.
doing your thing? You know, you're still furnishing the apartment.
Yeah. So I think I'd have to say chapatis.
Chapatis. You
guys.
love chapatis.
Chapatis.
Finally, at least I meet someone who loves chapatis.
Honestly, but I had to stop because it was starting to really show.
Yeah.
So I did a month detox, no chapatis, just so I can.
Yeah.
But I love chapatis. Right now, I found myself trying to cook simple English meals. So today, spaghetti bolognese, nothing crazy, just simple basics, protein, you know, trying to get our gains.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely, chapati is a winner. And I love the way you guys do your fish, samaki.
So I've been in Kenya for almost a year, and I'd like to stay for as long as, you know, Kenya will have me. I'd like to build a home here and, you know, continue immersing in the culture, because I think that there is a lot of room for growth and room for collaboration and like unity.
So do you find Kenya like a country that you will settle now? Because you're a digital nomad. The moment you told me a digital nomad, I'm like, okay, you should stay here for 3 years, then leave. Do you find Kenya as a country that you can stay long term and settle here?
Yes, I am planning to settle here, you know, slowly, and I have plans to build a house one day and buy a car one day, you know, in the future, and make this my permanent home base. But I always have a passion for traveling, so I would like to travel within Kenya, continue traveling, and continue traveling international.
Driving in Nairobi, what is the craziest experience driving the city?
Oh my God. Driving in Nairobi is an extreme sport. Like, I have been all over the freaking world and I've never seen this level of craziness in driving. So like, I guess the craziest experience I've had, we drove to Kisii, and on our way back to Nairobi through Rift Valley View, we got stuck in the traffic for about 2 hours. And literally, I had to start driving like a Kenyan, turn the vehicle all the way so I could navigate out of the traffic. It was absolutely insane. You're at Rift Valley Viewpoint. It's so high up and you're stuck on, I mean, it was just absolutely insane. But you know, it's Kenya, man. The driving here is absolutely crazy.
The one food that you love most about in Kenya?
Don't get on the food, man. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I know the Kenyans gonna come for me in the comment section. I'm not a huge fan of Kenyan food. But I do like, of course, choma. Aside from it getting in your teeth and have to pick it out for 5 hours. I'm being facetious. Skuma, of course, skuma wiki, which is collard greens. We eat that in the States. It's an African-American dish as well.
Yeah.
And then the fish. I always take people to one of my favorite fish places here in Kenya, in Adams Arcade. It's the best fish in Nairobi. Don't argue with me. But yeah, that's kind of it. Choma, skuma. I don't like ugali. Kenyans, don't come for me in the comment section. I know y'all love y'all ugali. I don't like grits either, so ugali is just hard grits. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the food though.
Have you picked any Swahili words?
Kidogo, I'm learning pole, but I'll get there.
Any sheng? You know we have sheng.
I just know, you know, small VP, niaje, small words, you know, and then like little things you guys do. If it's something crazy, you say, what? You know, or hey. If it's something, you know, little stuff like that. But I don't, I'm getting there.
Kenya. Like now it's our winter. Look guys, I'm in a hoodie. It's cold for me. To her, she's telling me it's hot.
Let me see what the temperature is. Let me tell y'all what because Kenyans will act like it is freezing. So right now it's 60 degrees, guys. Y'all know that's like nice weather. That's good weather for us. It's 60 degrees, but Kenyans are acting like it is freezing.
That for us is freezing. You know, we are not used to this.
Yes, hey, but that is your regular weather.
Yes, one thing that I really love about Nairobi is the social clubs. Like, there's so many social clubs. I think I'm in like 3 or 4, and they all offer different things. I've also been able to build community here. There are immigrant communities, and also building friendships with like Kenyans. So that's one thing that I really love here. I live in Machakos. Like, with low traffic, you could get to CBD in about 30 minutes or so. So I think that's like the perfect balance. But I go into town like a couple times a week, and when I want like a quieter side, I can come home and relax and have a view of the national park and stuff.
So some of the phrases that you've learned so far.
Yes, so Kenyan phrases I like. Niko Salama.
Niko Salama, that means?
I am good, I'm well. You know, Nika Sawa. So I am learning a little bit. Habari Gani. You know, I like Sasa. Also, I know just a little shang, kidogo shang, like menenos.
What is menenos? What does it mean?
It just means like type shit, like vibe. I don't know, like how to use it in a sentence. Let me see, like content menenos, you know, videography menenos. I don't know, working out menenos. I also know, I think Raba, Isa.
Raba?
Raba, like how to say hi. I think somebody used
Rada.
Rada,
Yes,
Rada,
okay.
how to say hi. Zanguzi Manais.
Uh-huh.
I know that one.
Which means?
I don't know. You know what it means. So yeah, that's just, you know, some words that I've learned. I also have a teacher, but my friends teach me.
Who is teaching in Zanguzi Manais?
Okay, my friends did teach me that one, but my teacher, she teaches me Habari Gani, you know, Niko Salama, Santi, Nawewe, that type of thing.
You're learning pretty fast.
Yeah.
In terms of all these people that you are relocating, all these people that are reaching out to you, what would you say that is one thing that is making them come back to Africa?
Yeah, of course. Freedom. Freedom and peace and safety. A level of feeling like you're wanted.
The West is the land of the freedom. Freedom is that look.
Listen, I will always be proud to be African American because I'm Gullah Geechee. And we have contributed to that country. Blood, sweat, tears. So I'll never just completely be like, you know, because that's always going to be home. However, 2 things can be true. That can always be home, but I can always find a place where I feel more comfortable. And Kenya, for a lot of us, we feel more comfortable here. We feel safe. We feel wanted. We feel seen. I'm on your platform. You're a Kenyan.
Yeah.
This means a lot to me that you would be interested in my story in your country. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so those are the nuances that you don't even think you need until you come here.
Journey back to Eden.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. So the Journey Back to Eden is a 3-year initiative that we are doing this year. And essentially, I started this journey because of the year of return. Ghana did an amazing job with the year of return. Shout out to Ghana and everybody who's participating in the last 5-6 years in the year of return and the return of the year. I think it's something like that. And so I figured, why can't we do that here in Kenya? Why can't we have something like that in East Africa? And so I started in 2020 with a virtual summit during the pandemic. And then we did the pilot tour, the pilot conference in 2023, 2024 at Two Rivers, which we're having it again this year at Two Rivers. We had about 100 participants there. And we brought in Noir Fashion Week from New York to be a part of that particular pilot, the call to action. And so now this year, we're doing the actual call to action, the Journey Back to Eden, calling 200 Africans of the diaspora to meet us in Kenya and look to Kenya as the second point of entry outside of Ghana for investment opportunities, relocation opportunities, business development, medical tourism, everything. But most importantly, relationship building with our Kenya counterparts. Let's get to know each other. There's a lot of internet wars where people are talking about, we don't have no culture, we don't know y'all, you're not African, this person is that. Well, it's rooted in a lot of ignorance because we really don't know each other. What the Journey Back to Eden is going to do is give us the opportunity to experience each other in real time, so that when we're having these discussions, you can actually measure it off of the knowledge that you actually experience from each other's culture. So, yes.
As we conclude, how can people find you?
Absolutely, you can find us at Traverse Culture on all of our social media handles, YouTube, TikTok, IG. We're also on X. And then you can go to our website at tverse.com. That's TVERZE.com. You can also email us at info@tverse.com or admin@tverse.com, or call us at a 1-800 number on the website to speak to a live person.
You have a podcast that you're running.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us more about that, at least where people can check you out.
Okay, so I'm on YouTube currently having conversations with different various people. The idea of the podcast is called On the Record, and the idea is to engage with fellow diasporans, fellow Kenyans, just to kind of allow people to know that there's life at home, there's life, there's peace, there's love. And the idea is to engage in these conversations where we can, discuss the certain businesses, the certain investments that you can make. And it's not me trying to milk money from anyone. That's not my mission. I just think that as a diaspora, I have had such a huge advantage of growing up in the West. And so with everything that's going on in the world, the West essentially don't really want us. If you know, you know. And so ideally, we need to come back to the motherland. And I know many of you will probably be saying, why Kenya? You should be in Zimbabwe then.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Zimbabwe since I was 10 years old, and I don't know anything about Zimbabwe. So unfortunately...
I know too much.
Okay, let me take your residency and you can take my Zimbabwe residency, and then that way we'll both be happy.
Yes.
So no, I think Kenya is what I found, and it was a healthy balance of the West, but in Africa. So that's why I found myself comfortable enough to know that I can make it here.
So you say people can check you out on YouTube,
You can
check
check
you
me
out on
out.
socials.
Yes, so on socials I am Tracy_Nairobi. On YouTube it is On the Record Podcast KE, because that's the Kenyan one. And everywhere else really, I'm there. LinkedIn, Tracy Mbariri.